Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, attendees. My name is Mike Foster. I'm the Vice President of Marketing for Projecthosts, and I'm delighted to have you with us today on our continuing webinar series. Today, we're happy to have with us Matan and our presenter, Daniel Zitter. In a moment, Daniel will discuss how Project Server 2010 users can gain more visibility and control over their projects. In this brief 30-minute webinar, Daniel will present real business cases of companies who use Matan's product, Masterlink, to more easily and effectively manage a program and dependencies among projects and to realize a significant improvement in business productivity. Before I begin, I'd like to quickly introduce Matan, Daniel, Projecthosts, and go over some quick housekeeping activities. Matan is a well-known and experienced enterprise project management company that specializes in work process improvement and the implementation of solutions that help managers make effective administrative decisions in complex and changing environments. Matan's added value stems from a combination of business understanding, accumulated experience, and proven ability in implementing supportive technological solutions. With us today, I'm happy to have Daniel Zitter. Daniel serves as the head of Matan's EPM division and is also a member of Matan's board of directors. He has more than 10 years of experience in setting up enterprise project management systems, defining methodologies, implementing and integrating supportive tools, and overseeing change management processes. In recent years, he spearheaded a complex organizational processes at Israel Aerospace Industries, Nice Systems, and other companies. Daniel has a BS in Industrial Engineering from Ben Gurion University, where he majored in Information Systems, and is PMP certified by the Global PMI organization. Today's webinar is sponsored by Projecthosts. Projecthosts, where I work, is the worldwide leader in custom cloud hosting of Microsoft EPM, CRM, and SharePoint solutions. Leading enterprises and medium-sized companies rely on Projecthosts to deliver all of the business and technology advantages of a cloud-based solution without sacrificing their company's solution architecture, application integration needs, or security requirements. With a custom cloud Projecthost deployment, businesses can realize much faster time to market and lower operating costs. Our customers typically report that their solutions and users are up and running in about half the time and operating at about one-half the cost as compared to similarly configured on-site environments. Now we're ready to begin the webinar. Please note that all attendees' phone lines are in a muted mode. But if you'd like to ask a question, you can type your question at any time in the GoToMeeting Ask a Question text box on the right side of your control panel. We'll be answering questions at the end of the presentation. So with that, I'd like to hand it over to Daniel. Daniel?
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction, Mike.
You're very welcome.
Can you guys see the screen?
We can see your screen, and if you go to full screen mode, I will mute myself, and then I'll be tracking questions for you, Daniel. Take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to be talking today about enhanced program visibility and control and how we can do that within our organization. So a little bit about the agenda, what I'll be going through today. I'll be starting out by talking a little bit about program management, what that means in different organizations. I will talk about different scenarios of program management and try to understand the different things that we need to control and we need to see when we're talking about program management in different organizations. Then I'll talk a little bit about Matan's vision of program management, what that means for us, for our customers, and how we see that implemented in the tools and in the processes in the different organizations. Then we'll go into what we need as a solution, how we work with programs, how we break them down to work packages, what kind of program reports program managers want and need to see while they manage the programs. And then we'll go through a short screenshot demo of Masterlink to understand what the tool does and how it actually helps you with your program management. And then we'll go through a summary of the benefits that we talked about. Hopefully at the end we'll have a few minutes to go through some of your questions so I can better answer them and see that you guys get real value out of this. So a little bit about program management. You know, when I go into different organizations and I talk about program management, different organizations see program management as different things. I think the common thing of program management is that you have a bunch of projects that usually lead to the same goal, to one of the organization's main objectives, or that it's actually a huge project that consists of different sub-projects and come together as one whole program. Some organizations look at a large project that is divided into the different teams in the organization as a program. So if I have many work packages that different teams work on, they call that a program. So you have a lot of different views of what a program is, but basically, usually it means a bunch of projects put together into one goal. When we talk about a program and we talk about a tool, a Microsoft project, you see in one place you have the ability or the need to see the whole program. That would be on the executive level, the program manager. And on the other level, you have the project managers that manage their own work packages, the projects that they need to run through and really divide and manage. And you see that you have links between the different projects within the program, and you have links to the program itself and the need to present things between them. Usually when I talk about program management, we talk about several scenarios that are very typical to our customers. And I'll try to go through some of these scenarios just to give you an idea of how our customers look at program management and how they benefit from the methodologies and the processes that we put in place in their organizations, and how you guys can benefit if you have similar processes in your organization. So we're going to go through several scenarios. One is where an organization has a mega project, a really big program. It could be a really huge project with a lot of people working on it. It could be different industries working together, and so on. Then we'll talk about integration of sub-projects. So what happens if you have a subcontractor that's working on a piece of your project, and how can we put together a picture for the program manager to see both his program and what's going on within the program and the pieces that he needs to see from the subcontractor. So we'll go through that scenario, and then we'll talk about what happens in a scenario where you have a customer and the customer is used to seeing, or you signed a contract with him and he knows of a project plan that you're supposed to follow. But when you break that project plan, because it's so big, when you break it down, it turns to be something that's different in the plan itself than what it used to be or what it was when you signed the contract. So how can you manage this work plan that you need to present to the customer and you need to show him progress against, and also manage the program the way you want to manage it and break it down the way you want to manage it? So we'll talk about that scenario as well. And the last scenario we'll talk about is in a matrix organization where you have the team leaders that manage certain work packages for one program. And we want to see, on the one hand, the project or the team managers want to see their work and what the teams are working on. But on the other hand, they want to enable the project manager to do his job and to see all the connections between the different pieces and how it can work. So these are the scenarios we'll be going through. And the first business case I'll be talking about is one of our customers is Better Place. I don't know if you've heard of them, but Better Place are a company that actually put together foundation for electric cars. So you have a way to charge the cars wherever you are, and they have a way to change the batteries in one place. So for Better Place, they have many subcontractors, and when they go and their projects, or the project that we work with them on, are where they have subcontractors that put together different, they put together the parking spaces, and their projects are to put the electric poles in those parking places. And you have a lot of different subcontractors there, and they have project plans. So the subcontractors have project plans, but also the program manager at Better Place has one project plan. And on the one hand, he wants to enable the subcontractors to manage their own projects, so they have their own project files and they update them because that's the way they manage themselves. But he also requests that once every 2 weeks they send him a file, each one of the subcontractors, with the information with the updated file. So we have a process in place where once every 2 weeks the PO of the project officer, takes all of these projects, loads them back into the project server, and then within one click the program manager gets a picture of everything that is changed within the project files. And then he can either approve the changes, or he can turn back to the project managers from the different companies, from the subcontractors, and talk to them about the changes and maybe renegotiate some of the dates and make sure that maybe they can pull in some of the projects and so on. So this is one scenario where in a program you want to see one picture in a place, and using the process and the tool that I'll show you later on can really help you with. The next process, or the next business case I'm going to talk about, is where you have a program and you want to present it to a customer. So I was involved in a very large program. It was a program of $1.2 billion. When they signed the contract with the company, it's in the Air Force industry division of one of the companies here in Israel. And when they signed the contract with the customer, they presented a 300-line project file, and that was in the contract. They had to show progress against this project file. But when they went ahead and they detailed the project plan or the program plan, it turned into 40 different project files across many different divisions of the company. And they needed a way to keep presenting to the customer those 300 lines that he knows about, but on the other hand, they needed to really manage the project. Now, they used Masterlink in this organization, and they used the processes that we put in place. And when the customer came over after half the year and asked to see the 300 lines of the project file, of the program file, they presented it to him. And then he asked about a certain work package within those 300 lines. And when they were able to just click on that work package and to show them a whole work plan that drives the dates within that work package and exactly explains to them why they're finishing at that date, they were very pleased because they knew that, you know, the company was not just showing them the dates that they want to see, it's also telling them how they're going to get there and that they actually have a plan behind it. Okay? So the next scenario I'm going to talk about is the project management in a matrix organization. So when you go into matrix organizations, you have two very important stakeholders. On the one hand, you have the team manager or the team leader. The team leader has a very important job. He gets work packages from the project managers, and they need to deliver the work packages and the different deliverables to the project manager on time. Okay? So on the one hand, you can see here, for instance, a Team A leader. He's working on Module A and Module D of a certain product or a certain program, and the team manager of Team C is working on different modules. So for here, he's working on all the modules of the product or of the program. So on the one hand, he needs to manage his work, but on the other hand, you have the program managers, you have the program manager, and you have the project managers of the different modules. Now, each one of these project managers needs to get input from the different team managers. It needs to be able to show what are the work packages and what are their dates, and if something has changed, he needs to know about it so he can go and talk to the people involved and make sure that the resources he gathered for the project are actually working on the project and so on. So in order for him to be able to get a picture on the one hand and the team manager to be able to manage his project within the team, we use Masterlink in those organizations, and it works very well, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, the last scenario I'm going to talk about, and this is actually the focus of this half hour that we're talking, is the program manager. So when you have a large program on the one hand, and you see that here on top, and then you have work packages of the different project managers that they manage, and they have that detailed within their project file. So we'll focus on this, and we'll see some examples around this scenario. So when we talk about cross-project dependencies, because we're talking about linking between the different project files and presenting things in the program file. So when we're talking about the different project dependencies you have the classic project dependencies that everybody knows, like task C of project A needs to finish before task 2 of project B can start. So that's one kind of dependency, and that's a dependency that we all know. Another kind of dependency that we have in here is the work package dependency. And that means, as in the program level, all I'm interested in is knowing when phase 2 of building the lab starts, when it finishes, and if I have an issue, do I have any raised flags here in this in the program. On the other hand, the project manager that is focusing on building the lab of this huge hospital, part of the program, he needs to really detail out the phase 2 of building the lab. Now, this brings us back to the whole concept of what we feel at Matan that a program needs to be. When you go and tackle a program, you can get, I've been in organizations where a program for them could be 40 or 50,000 lines of projects, of tasks. Now, I don't know any person in the world that can manage that many tasks, that really can go into detail and understand 40,000 tasks. It's an impossible endeavor. So what we suggest is to take this program, break it up into work packages, and have project managers be owners of those work packages. Manage the work packages, they're responsible for everything within the work package, and let the program manager decide what project is in need for him to dive into. So instead of going and managing the 40,000 tasks that you have in the program, you can decide on the certain projects and the work packages that are struggling or are on your critical path and that you need to focus on. That's a way you can manage. You can't manage everything, but you can manage the places that are struggling. And that's, in 2 words, that's the whole philosophy. Breaking the whole program down and making sure that we all can work together, and each one of us focus on the issues that he has, and only if he can't work with your problem or manage your problem, bring it up to the managers, to the program manager, and work with that. So what we need is kind of a solution to guide us through this, to be able to break down a project into different work packages and some reports, and can really help me as a program manager view all of the issues that I have, make sure that I know the connections between the different projects, the integration points between the different projects and the program, and to view the critical path of my program. So these are the common requests that we get from our customers. So talking about the different links between the projects and monitoring the program status, the two main things that you really need to make sure that you have when you monitor the program, these are the most common requests that I get from program managers is, Daniel, come to us and show us how we can easily see the integration points, how we can focus on the places where one project manager needs to deliver something to another project manager. How can I view as a program manager, how can I go and I see my critical path going across those 40 project files? I want to see where I need to focus. I need to see if somebody is telling me that he's going to be a month late, does that actually impact the program? And I don't want to spend a lot of time looking for this. I want to be able to do these what-if scenarios and see that, right when I get the request to move out things. Okay? So, finishing this theoretical part, I'm going to dive into the tool a little bit and talk about what Masterlink is. Because Masterlink is an answer to all of the questions that I showed you before. You need to have good methodologies in place, good processes in place, but you also have to have a good automated tool that enables you to run through all the scenarios that I talked about and can help you view the things that we talked about. So what is Masterlink? Excuse me. Masterlink is a project add-on. It makes it easier for managers to control and monitor multiple projects. And it actually improves the tools and reports, enhance the program management capabilities. Now, obviously, we're talking at a seminar here at Projecthosts, and it is available. It's SaaS, and it's really a great tool when implementing this on a tool like Projecthosts offer. We've done that with several of our customers, and they're very, very happy. When we talk about Masterlink, it gives you a little bit more things than you get out of the box with cross-project links. So you also get the standard links that you know of, finish to finish, start to finish, and all those links. But it also gives you other links that for some organizations it's really important. Links like finish to deadline, deadline to finish, deadline to start, work packages, which is really, really an important connection type for us and for program managers in general. It also allows you to, if you have multiple instances of your project server, it also allows you to connect between the different project instances. And this is a capability that for many organizations is very, very important because they have a project server instance deployed for different departments and they want to link among them. So in the next 5 minutes I'm going to try and run through this. So basically this is a screenshot of a program and when I want to go and I want to use Masterlink, you can see that Masterlink is integrated into Project Professional. You go to the tab of Masterlink and then I can go ahead and I can click on links. Okay? When I click on links, I get a task pane down here and then I go to the task that I want to link to another project and I go here. I go down here and I can click on add another task. Okay, I want to add another link. So I click on this and I get this new agreement page. And this new agreement page I can decide what kind of connection do I want to create. I can choose work package, finish to start, finish to finish, and so on. Once I choose, I'm going to go ahead and choose the work package type connection. And then I'm going to type in part of the name of the project I want to go ahead and connect to, find it, and then when I choose the project that I want to connect to, I scroll down to the project I want to connect to and to the task I want to connect to, click on OK, and then I've created the link. Okay? So what I see here, in blue, I see the line of the link that, this is what I'm representing today in my project file, and in green, I see what is reflected from the project file that I'm connected to. So you see that they're not aligned. In order to align them, I need to go ahead and click here on this button, Approve. And when I approve, you see that both lines are now aligned. So basically, I'm saying that the lab manager now and the lab activities are both aligned to the same dates, so the start date, the finish date, the duration, and so on and so forth. Next thing I want to do here, I want to go ahead and I want to open, from my program file, I want to go ahead and open the project that I've connected to, okay, the NTK project over here. So what I do then, I click here on this button, and if I have permissions to go to that project file, I can do so. So I open it. Now I'm at the project level. Notice that the project was open, and it brings me straight to the summary task that I've connected to. Okay? So I see this summary task here. I can also see that somebody is connected to me. Okay? And I can go ahead and make some changes here. So let's say that this is changed from the 15 days that we had before to 20 days. If it's changed to 20 days, I can go ahead now and publish my file and go back to my program file. And I see now, after I've refreshed everything, I can see now that the dates have changed. Okay? I can go down here in the finish date, see what the last date was. If I hover over here, I see the last date. I can also see the new date. And I can decide if I want to approve this change or if I want to go back to the project manager and renegotiate the dates. Okay? I can also see that I have something here that has changed, so I can filter down only to things that have changed if I so incline. And I can also see that this is something that's connected with a give and get kind of connection over here. So if I approve this and things have changed, the user can accept the change and move on. Another thing we wanted to add in here is the capability to save the changes of the link and to show the history of the connection. We call this an agreement when we created it. And if I go here and I click on this button here, I can see the history of this agreement. When it was created, who created it, if it was removed, it was added back in, and the finish and start dates. So if things have changed, I can monitor that, and I can go back to my project or program manager and talk about these things if they change too often. Okay? Other things that we can see here is about, if I want to see some more details about the connection, I just click here on details, and I can see the different information like work, cost, duration, deadline, and so on within this connection. I can also add different types of information if I want to roll them up from the project file to the program file, things like deadline or health or whatever kind of information I want to roll up in a work package connection, I can do so using Masterlink. I can also use a function here of discussion, and I'll run through this because we don't have a lot of time. You can log some of your discussions between the project manager and the program manager. This does not replace meetings. It doesn't replace emails, but it's a good place to log that information of why changes are made, if I agreed or I didn't agree to these changes. So when you go through the post-mortem of the project, you can really get cool information from it. Another thing that many customers really like is the ability to allow a program manager to push, to send a work package to one of the project managers. So just by selecting a task, I can go ahead and insert a work package into another file, and I can choose what file I want to send the work package to and where I want it to be added in the project file. And after I do so, I get a message in the project file that I have new inserted tasks and that I can either approve this, and I can also see where things are done. Now, another thing, I talked about the different instances. So if you have a Masterlink implementation where you have different project server instances, and you want to enable selecting what kind of instance you want to connect to, you get another piece in your new agreement window. You can select that as well. So looks like I'm kind of out of time, so I'm going to run through just one more thing, just being able to see that from your project file you can also see give and get report. The give and get report is a really, really, really important report for the program managers. I have some program managers come up to me and say, this is all I ever wanted in life. I wanted to be able to know what the connections are between the different project files and how they're moving along. Because if I know that, I know where I have issues. I know where my problems are. So this report really allows you to see, you're connected from NK program to NK project. These are the tasks that are connected. These are the changes that are made. If I have here a light bulb that says that, you have a change and nobody has approved that change. So you really need to go in, drill down, and understand that change. Another report that we have in here, if I go to critical path, I can select what project I want and what task I want to see the critical path that leads to it, and then I get a really cool presentation here of a cross-program critical path. Notice that each one of these gray lines is a different project file. So if I selected implementation option complete, it goes through 2 different project files and shows me the real critical path of the program. Okay. So when we go through the different benefits here, it enables us program management capabilities, and the Masterlink enable us control approval of the impact of changes in the program level, and you can see the changes before you approve them and decide if you want to go ahead and approve these. It enables you to retrieve a lot of information into the work package, things like work, cost, and different things like that, so you can actually manage things in the program level and see the summation of things. It supports rolling back of tasks, summary tasks, etc. So these are the major things that you get when you use Masterlink and you follow the processes of program management. So with that, Mike, are there any questions?
Yeah, let me check. Give me a second here. Thank you for that presentation, Daniel. I really appreciate that. And thanks for keeping it to 30 minutes for our viewers and the listeners when we post it online. 2 questions. First question, Daniel, you ready? Yep. At what size should I think about splitting a big project into a master project and subportals? At 500 tasks, for example, or 1,000 tasks, etc.?
That's a very good question, Mike. Basically, I don't look at it from the number of lines that you have in the project. The view is who is managing the different work packages. So if I have one manager that is actually responsible for a work package and it contains 400 lines or 1,000 lines, I'll have one work package for that manager. Okay? So it really depends on who's in charge. Now, we can take this into the process world and say, okay, can one person manage 1,000 lines in, I don't know, 2 or 3 months? Is that something that's manageable? And then we can go and look, maybe that project manager needs to assign some of the work packages to other people to have them responsible of a certain number of lines there, and then he can manage them using Masterlink in the different project files. So I don't have a magic number that tells you exactly, if I get to 1,000 lines, I want to break it out into 2 project files. I don't have that. But it really depends on who's managing the project file and the work packages, and can he actually manage so many? Okay, so those are the questions that would lead you to a good practice in that department.
Okay, great. The next one is a similar question, Daniel. It's when there are many linkages between sub-projects in a master project, when should I think about consolidating them into a single project?
Right.
Similar
so,
question.
Again, that goes, yeah, it is. It really goes back to who's responsible for things. So I wouldn't want to consolidate a project file, have everything in one big project file if I have different owners within that project. So if I have many different owners, I want each one to be responsible for his work package and keep managing that, even if I have a lot of dependencies between the different projects, because I want to give a tool, a good tool, to the project manager that enables him to manage everything that he's doing, to see where he has issues, and to manage them and solve them. When you don't give a good tool to a project manager, I went into some organizations and I saw that they only had one project file, and the program manager was really a strong person there, and he was managing everything on his own. And then when I walked in and I talked to the project managers, the work package managers, they were using Excel or local project files to manage what they were doing because they needed a tool. So basically it really depends on who's managing what.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. I don't see any other questions here.
I hope that answered the question.
Well, it's good. It's great. I don't see more questions coming in, so I think on behalf of all of us listening here, Daniel, I really appreciate your time and energy to participate in this webinar with Project Hosts as part of our continuing series, and look forward to future presentations.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, Mike. Bye.
You bet. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.